let me go over the solution for assignment 11. Here we have this assignment. You were going to calculate some rates and some screening tests, sensitivity, specificity, and so forth. The first problem, what I asked you to do, calculate some of the rate. So basically, using the information from table, you could have you have to find those information and use the right formula to calculate. So let's look at some of these problems we had. For crude rate, we have 1,000 dead over 100,000, the total population times 1,000 was our K becomes 10, the correct answer. Race, specific death rate for white and other, basically we have 580 for white and 420, and their population was based on their population, we had 60,000 and 40,000 times 1,000, 9.7 and 10.5 is the right answer. Now, the maternal mortality rate, so again, using the right formula for maternal mortality rate, if you look at the formula we have here, the number of death for during 1 year, if you look at, was death from mature death was 1, and then here your denominator is not the total population, basically is the live birth, which is 5,000. So you divide it by that, you get 20. Infant mortality rate was 50 divided by 5,000 times 1,000. Again, this is the number of death over under 1 year. That's 50 comes from here, under 1 year. And again, we're dividing by the live birth here. The same for neonatal mortality rate. Your denominator again is total live birth, and then 40 came from under 28 days. So you calculate that. Fetal death ratio was basically, again, here, the 100 you have here, fetal total death by live birth again, and you calculate becomes 20. Cause of death, you have the cancer, how many were die from cancer over total death, and how many were die in heart disease over total death, you get 20 and 30. So those are the correct answer. Question 2, again, we have here 90,000 live birth in a state for 1 year, and total population was 4 million, and the number of women between age 15 to 50 was 1 million. Crude birth rate, remember crude birth rate was total live birth during a year, total population. So 90,000 over 4 million times 1,000 is 22.5. And general fertility rate is basically total of number of live birth during a year. Now the denominator is here changing. Is total number of women of childbearing age, assuming 15 to 50 would be that is 90,000 over 1 million, which is times 1,000 would be 90. Problem 3, basically this is the screening test. I asked you to calculate the sensitivity, what it means, and specificity, what it means, and again, false positive, false negative, and positive predictive value, and what does positive predictive value means, negative predictive value. So basically the sensitivity was, again, when I mentioned you cell A, B, C, D, and then you replace in the formula, A is 900 over 1,000 is 0.90. Your specificity is 18, your D is 1895 divided by D plus B, which is 2000.94. And the easy formula for false positive is 1 minus specificity, which become 0.05. False negative is 1 minus 0.90, 0.1. And positive predictive value is A over AB, 900 over 1005 is 0.89, almost 0.90. Negative predicted value is D over C plus D, which is 1895 over 1995.95. So again, using assigning A, B, C, D to your or TP, if you want true positive and those notation, using formula, you could have answered all these questions. Question 4, I ask you to calculate the relative risk and what it means and odds ratio. Again, the relative risk was probability disease given your factor over probability disease not factor is 100 over 500 divided by 10 over 1500, which is 29.5. So again, here is your exposure, 100 over 500 and 10 over 1500. And odds ratio, the simple formula is AD over BC, which is 100 times 1490 over 400 times 10, 37.25. And the way you interpret, again, for relative risk, those men who smoke are 29.8 times more likely to develop lung cancer compared to those who do not smoke. Here we go from exposure to disease. In odds ratio, we said the odds of developing lung cancer is 37 times higher for those men who smoke compared to those men who do not smoke. Again, here for odds ratio, we go from condition or disease to your exposure. These are because of the relative risk. Usually you have longitude study, odds ratio when you have cross-sectional or case control study. So I hope this solution helped you to understand better the material.